Mischief Makers. Mischief Makers.
Now listen up, cause here is a tale about three tricksters who all set sail. They embark on a mission to see who is the best, and until they have a victor, they never will rest. There's Anansi, Reynard, and then there's Raven, and when they get together, there's Mischief. They exchange their stories all about their tricks, and later they will see which one the audience picks. Anansi the spider wants to prove he is wise, and so he calls Naomi, the god of the sky. Naomi, let me prove that I'm clever, and she says, fool, you don't want to start this endeavor. But he persists, so she gives him some corn, and the poor little itsy bitsy spider is torn. Do I plant it, or cook it, or eat it, or whatever? And she says, use it to bring all my people together. And so Anansi's spider sets out, but it's dark and he's hungry and he starts to doubt. Then a chief sees him and fears he's come to pillage, but he says, I'm a messenger, a welcome to our village. He saves with a knife and his friend's eaten by a chicken. And now Anansi's master plan can really kick him. There's some funny business, a sheep, a cow, and a baby. And all the villages all around are going crazy. The people are together, so Anansi calls Naomi, hoping she won't swim with a plague or tsunami. Naomi, and then he starts to quiver. Look at your people gather just beyond the river. But he means to do because Naomi is pleased. She even cures a baby of a sickly disease. She awards him with wisdom written on some notes, and he goes home to his wife so he can gloat. He hides them in a pot high up in a tree, but it storms and they fall and they all sail free. He's very sad at first, but his wife thinks it's grand. Then he says, wait a minute, wife, don't you understand? My wisdom's in the river and soaring through the air. To all around the world, my knowledge will share. His wife is perplexed, she's really had it with him, but this is how Anansi brought the world wisdom. Now, even though all the other tricksters are impressed, they're still not convinced that Anansi is the best. Anansi urges Raven to start with his tale. Raven says, which one? The frog or killer whale? Reynard says, no, neither of those sound right. Raven says, how about the one where I stole the light? The world was in darkness and no one could see. Raven thought this business ain't okay with me. He found the light cabin with a daughter and a cheat, and Raven snuck in and he told him his beat. He said, give me the light. I know you haven't hid it, but the man screamed, entering our home is forbidden. Besides, I have no light. And if it were true, you would never find it. Now our conversation is through. Then Raven realized that the answer was the daughter. I can get to her when she goes to get some water. I need to transform myself, but what should I be? I got it, a pine needle fallen from the tree. The daughter drank the river and didn't realize that the water she sipped held Raven in disguise, so anatomically impossible. Early one morning, 9 months later, a baby was born. Raven used his cover to gain the family's trust, and he screamed until they had enough. They gave him the boxes where the light was contained, and when they tried to stop him, he screamed and complained. He got down to the last box and unsealed the lid, and a glowing orb emerged, no longer hid. The baby turned back into Raven, and with the light, flew far away and well out of sight. He soared through the valleys, the mountains, and the rivers, and through all the world, day was delivered. There were glowing specks in the sky, even at night, and that's how the Raven brought the world light. Now we only have one story that remains before we can decide who is the winner of the game. Reynard the fox from faraway France tells them the story of his life at a glance. It's harsh and it's hard and he goes without food, and they notice that Reynard's in a peculiar mood. They see his mouth water and his posture change, and this strikes them both as really quite strange. He lunges at Raven, who scurries up the pole, and along with the nuts, Reynard makes him his goal. They cry, don't eat us, but the fox still tried, and so they both ran to the forest to hide. To get them back, Reynard fakes his own death by snapping some twigs and holding his breath. The two come back with tears in their eyes, unable to believe that the poor fox sighs. But once they're close enough to the fox's grasp, Reynard reaches out and catches them fast. They both try to run, but to no avail. All of their attempts to get away fail. Admit I'm the best, don't put up a fight, they say to Reynard.
You're the greatest, alright.
When they both think they're dead, Reynard lets him go, announcing that it all was simply for show. All he cared about was winning the contest. He didn't care if he was dishonest. The others protest, say put it to a vote, and then the contest gets really cutthroat. Let's hear it for Anansi, Raven, and Reynard, for on their stories they all worked hard. Reynard's not satisfied, he says he wants more, and he'll douse you with water if it's not better than before. He wins by cheating for the second time, and then they start fighting and getting out of line. They all scream I won and dance around until Naomi sees what's going on in the ground. She tells them to can it, she needs her rest, and she says all three of you tricksters are best. She settles the fight and then tells them to chill, and thankfully they all listen to her will. She sends them back to create more laughter, and the Mischief Makers live happily ever after.
I'm Devin Barnes. I love Source 4s and gobos too. Devin Barnes. I like lighting design and scenic too, yeah.
I focused my first light when I was 8 months old. I hide up in the light grid to be by myself.
Sing it, girl.
Sometimes I will play roadie Tetris.
Oh, he's good at it too.
Always gonna win, cause he's Devin Kyle Barnes.
Smarter than you, Devin Kyle Barnes.
He's almost a black belt in karate, but not quite. He's like a stripe away, but that's still really awesome.
Yeah, he's got swords too.
And nunchucks.
Yeah.
Lots of nunchucks.
Juggling too.
Mostly he just likes lights and drafting and more lights.
Yeah.
All kinds of lights, psych lights.
Devin